It began as the focal point of one of the most ingenious newspaper subscription offers in history, described as a summer paradise. And it drew so many new arrivals that within 3 years, in 1917, Beachwood incorporated as a borough. Now, 100 years later, Beachwood has some 10,000 full-time residents, and still the tight-knit community that Bertram Mayo envisioned at the dawn of the 20th century. Borough residents and officials marked the borough's 100th anniversary this year with a refurbished, rededicated Centennial Fountain at Beachwood Beach. Folks here can tell you about the early days and many of the original families who existed a century ago. So who will be remembered when Beachwood turns 200? Well, maybe you. Plans are afoot for a new walkway approach, and your name can be inscribed on a paver of that walkway. With me are Beachwood Councilman Ed Zacher and Greg Feeney, and Carl Schmidt, head of the Borough Environmental and Shade Tree Commission. Gentlemen, this is historic in many respects, but I think the thing that struck me most was its symbolism for this community. Beachwood as a group of tightly lit residents. How much of that, let's start with you, Carl, how much of that went into the thought of creating and rededicating the fountain and creating the paving stone?
Well, we were thinking of all the people that have been here, that took part and actually created the borough of Beachwood by responding to the original advertisement by the New Tribune that brought people down here and to get them in, and everybody talked about here and everything that's great about it, and we felt this was a perfect way to express the history and the dedication of the people of Beachwood to the area.
It was quite an undertaking. Ed, how did you finance all this?
This was financed by volunteers, local businesses right here in Beachwood. We had Sage Construction, who actually redid the interior of the fountain. As you know, it was a planter for many, many years, and Carl and his group of Environmental Shade Tree Commission, as well as me being the liaison, decided that it was time to resurrect it in commemoration of our 100th anniversary this year. So we had Sage Construction that came in, and he decided that he was going to lay all the pavers, resurface the fountain, make it seal-proof, and then put the actual fountain part back in by running a pump, etc. We had Tom Prince, who was a local electrician, who ran the wires, and our Public Works Division, headed up by John Behrens and Gibby Silva, who did a lot of the labor part, digging the hole, the trench for the lines, and then just helping where they could. So it was a group effort headed by Carl Schmidt and his commission that we were able to attain this magnificent area again. It came out a lot better than I thought it would. We envisioned it for the last 2 years as to what we would like it to be and look like, but to actually see it today and all of the contributions that we received it's just superb.
Councilman Feeney, now there has been so much that's gone on here. The redirecting of the water around Beachwood Beach, which turned it into a gem of a beach. The whole environmental project that went with that, the rededicating of the fountain, the paving stones. This has customarily been a place for people to come and just relax, unplug, reflect. Have you noticed an uptick in that since this has been done?
Oh, absolutely. And again, it's a testament to the borough itself and the many volunteers, because without the volunteers, the borough beach would, would be, a lot of projects might not be able to be done, from our Environmental Shade Tree Commission to our Eagle Scout projects that get done in the borough all the time. But we have seen an absolute uptick down here at the beach and the bluff from the improvements. And again, it's what makes Beachwood great. It's the fact that it's a small town, yet we're able to get a lot of projects done with the help of volunteers and the commissions, the support of the governing body. But again, as Councilman Zacher said, we would be remiss if we didn't thank Sage Construction, the Public Works Department, Tom Prince and Jack Fernandez, who again volunteered their time and efforts in order to make this project complete, which again brings back Beachwood's 100th anniversary.
Now, these people will be people who will be talked about when it's 200, but we're looking for a few more, Carl. So tell us about what you envision for a new walkway to accompany this one.
Well, when we were as we were finishing up, and in fact, while we were laying, some of the people that were even here helping said, I didn't know I could buy the stone. Oh, I forgot to buy one. Can I get one? Well, I said, they're all sold for here. So we had enough interest shown that we decided to give the Borough of Beachwood residents an opportunity to purchase additional engraved pavers and place a walkway out on the other side of the front, out to the asphalt walkway. So right now we're in the process of getting names of people that are interested in purchasing a paver, because we don't know the exact cost yet, because until we find out how many are involved and everything else, we won't know the total cost. But to find out, and then if we get sufficient interest shown, then we will go ahead and pursue and then get the actual applications out to the people to fill in and submit their checks to the borough so that we can go ahead and purchase these in pavers.
I know you have a little squib on the web page, on the borough web page, and I know you've had flyers out, and you've pretty much gotten the word out of the council meetings, and you've reiterated that several times. Do you have a time frame in mind to get your inquiries in? Do you have a deadline?
Well, I'd like to know where we stand by October 30th of this year to see whether it's going to be worthwhile to pursue it. Because if it is, I'd like to try and have it done by next Memorial Day, so it'll finish up and we can do it in that type of increment. So then once we find out we have sufficient, we will send out the applications to those that have expressed interest and pursue it from there. But I'd like to know how many people are really interested by October 30th.
We had many people come down the day of the ribbon cutting from the mayor, Roma did, and they were interested at that time. I believe we have about 15 interested people. We'd like to get about 60. That'll fill in the pavers just like this. The gloss look with the black engraving. It's just beautiful. It just is nice. So that's our goal, is to get to about 60 or so we can pursue the other walkway over here.
Okay, now you get a chance to bust your buttons a little bit here, because you really have to take credit for all of the improvements that have gone on at the beach and in the park here with the fountain. All this happened under your watch. You were both part of this, and you're both part of the legacy that this borough has moving forward. And 100 years from now, people are going to be talking about it, Zachary and Greg Feeney too.
Well, it's interesting you say that, Tom, because once again, besides the bluff, the beach, the improvements, the fountain, as we've talked about, our new community center over here, which again, everybody in the community is just in love with, the continued improvements at all of the parks and the playgrounds, the roads, the drainage. Again, Beachwood, again, as we project forward for another 100 years, let's hope that that those that come after us have the same vision as those that are currently here now, which is to make our community a beautiful community and improve as we can moving forward. And make it a place where people have always in the past wanted to come and raise a family.
And that's a key point. The balance between progress in a town, development in a town, while still keeping its atmosphere and still keeping its vision as a community. There's a big difference between a community and a municipality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, my wife and I moved here about 40 years ago and just fell in love with the borough. We're both very staunch volunteers, and we get involved with all of the different entities, the recreation, the municipal alliance that's basically for the kids to make them aware of drugs and alcohol and how to stay away from them, which is headed up by Geraldine Roma, our chairperson there. There's just a lot of opportunities for families to come, locate here, and just spread your wings. It's just a great opportunity.
I'd like to expand a little bit more on that, Tom, too. And again, where can you come in the Toms River Regional School District and also be able to come into a small community and stay in your town, in your school, in a regional district from kindergarten to 8th grade? and then move on to high school and high school south that we're very proud about it, all of our kids go to. But again, in Beachwood, as Ed said, the volunteers, the recreation, the police department, the fire department, our first aid, the Environmental Shade Tree Commission, and also our municipal alliance. I mean, again, we can go on and on and on. I don't, you know, again, I'm biased in this. Ed's been here for 40 years. My family moved down here 26 years ago, and we've brought a lot of friends since that with us. But again, if you look at the ability to come into Beachwood and have a beautiful municipality, a beautiful small little borough, but also the ability to go to school from kindergarten to 8th grade with your people in your town and not have to go elsewhere, that's a beautiful thing too.
Let's go to Mr. Schmidt for the final word. Carl, 26 years, 40 years, they're basically out-of-towners, aren't they?
Well, I'm even newer than that, but that's beside the point. I mean, that's a lot of what we have in Beachwood today are people that have been here from current coming in just recently to about 50 years ago. We have some original people still here, but the community's grown and developed, and we're trying to meet the needs of everybody that's here.
Carl, what is the best way for someone to get in touch so they can let you know that they want to buy one of those paving stones? Okay.
They can email the Shade Tree Commission at www.envshadetreee@beachwoodusa.com. And I monitor that site, and I pick up the names off of it all the time.
Facebook as well. We have a Facebook site too.
Okay, so either Facebook or by email, you can message and let somebody know.
All we need to do is know their name, their phone number, the number of pavers that they're interested in. We're not going to hold them to it, but just to give us an idea. And then also their email address, so we have a couple ways of getting in touch with them.
Carl Schmidt, the leader of the Beachwood Environmental and Shade Tree Commission, and Councilman Ed Zacher and Greg Feeney. Thanks very much for this. This has been really enlightening. And we have an October 30th deadline.
To find out those that are interested to decide whether we pursue the additional walk, yes.
Okay, so now's the time to hit the keyboard and send that message. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks.